Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all the viewers watching us live. Tonight, we've got a really important guest. We have got Mark from the UK, and this is day four of Amazon PPC week. And let me just recap of what's happened till now. Day one started with we talked to Zuriat about which campaign and match types does he recommend, and day two we talked to Neil Twa about uh, why Amazon PPC fails, and jumping back on to day three we talked a little bit about Facebook, TikTok, and versus Amazon ads. But tonight we've got Mark, who is the co-founder of Orange Rocket, an advertising firm based in the UK. And we'll ask Mark tonight about why Amazon PPC reports are really important, and why it is important that you should provide information to your clients or your senior management if you're working for an agency, and not data. And I'll ask Mark to introduce him firstly, then we'll jump up on the topic, and Mark will be telling us about sales funnel and their significance as well. Hi, Mark.
Hi, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Nice to not see everyone, but nice to be here.
Awesome. So I'll ask you about what you do, what your agency does, and we'll jump on to the topic tonight.
So what we do is we're a small boutique PPC agency. So we started exclusively doing Amazon PPC for clients. I used to be a seller. I've actually started and sold to Amazon businesses myself and sold them. So I decided to go into PPC consultancy. So for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been doing PPC for mainly US, UK, European clients. We're now starting to branch into the areas where there is demand, like Walmart, and also off Amazon driving traffic. So Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We don't do a lot of that, but we use it through something that some of your viewers may have heard of called attribution, which is where you drive onto a particular link on Amazon and you can get reports about where the sales are coming from. So we kind of do a bit of that, but it's mainly just traditional Amazon PPC for larger clients, mid-size.
All right, that's awesome. So I'm gonna let you do all the talking and let you talk about sales funnel and reports.
Okay, so let me start by sharing my screen.
Yep.
Share screen. Okay, so can you see my logo there?
Yep, we can.
Okay, so that's just obviously the first page. So the reason I put some slides together is something that then people can take away later and look back, because there's going to be a lot of talking, and just make sure that we cover what it is. I'll put a little bit of extra at the end, which is my little PPC myths that I like to put together. But I'm going to talk about funnel marketing, client communications and reporting, which is the same section, and then obviously the myths. So funnel marketing. So a lot of people misunderstand how advertising works when it comes to what sort of campaigns to set up. So there's a lot of misinformation out there about there's one way to do Amazon PPC or PPC generally, is that you set up campaigns, you put keywords in it, and you run them and you optimize them to a particular ACOS. Now that's partly true, but where we always have to start, whether it's our own account or whether we're doing an account for a client, is the first question we have to understand is, what is the objectives? What's the goal? What are people trying to achieve? What are you trying to achieve for your account or your client by doing PPC? And if I just go to the next slide. So what I've got on the right hand side, hopefully you can see that, is that we've got a funnel, which is obviously shaped like a funnel. So The reason it's shaped like a funnel is that at the top of the funnel is a big, massive audience. Think of it like an ocean. And that's where all of the people are potentially interested, and they're only vaguely interested in your product. So I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. So they are big audience, vaguely aware. The people in the middle of the funnel are a little bit more interested, but aren't specifically necessarily going to be buying your particular product, but they're interested in the subject. So I'll give you an example in a minute. And then the people at the bottom is what we call bottom of funnel. They're your people who are searching for your particular product, your particular brand, and those are the people that are closest to the purchase. And that's why we call it a funnel. So that if you look here on the right-hand side, the conversion increases from low to high if you go down the funnel. Sales decrease, go up as you go down. Relevance gets higher as you go down because your customers are much more relevant at the bottom. The traffic, however, is much higher here because there's a lot more people thinking about pets or whatever it is than people at the bottom thinking about a particular pet product. ACOS will always go up because these people have less what we call buyer intent. And then the cost per click will be higher up here because you're not converting as many. Your audience size will be bigger, and your spend on PPC will generally be a lot more. So I'm going to break that down more in more detail as I go through, but it's a general idea of funnel marketing is it's shaped like a funnel. So if your objectives for your account or your client is to increase brand awareness, make people more aware, or increase your audience, get lots of traffic, people talking about your brand or making inquiries about your brand, then you need to be doing top of funnel stuff. If you're just interested in trying to capture competitor sales, try and do some research and finding more relevant keywords about your products, middle of funnel. If you're interested in driving profit or cost, what we call cost of acquisition, which is how much it costs to convert a customer, or you're increasing profit for your client, then you're at bottom of funnel stuff. And it's really important when you are tasked with either managing our account or you're managing your own account that you understand what you're trying to achieve. So typically when we take on a new client, we go up the funnel. So we'll start here with brand events and then we'll go up the funnel. So let me give you some examples of the type of keywords you would see at the different points of the funnel. So someone at the top, we're talking about pets now. Someone at the top of the funnel is sort of generally interested in pets, just pets generally. There'll be horses, cats. Someone a little bit further down might be towards the consideration, might be interested in dog accessories. Now we're getting into dogs. Now we're thinking about dog beds. I need something for my dog to sleep on. That's someone in the middle of the funnel or who's looking at a competitor dog brand. Now, down at the bottom of the funnel, that should say bed, I made a spelling mistake, large dog bed for Labrador, which is a type of dog, very, very specific. And if you sell a large dog bed for a Labrador, you're almost certainly going to be in the consideration for a purchase. And if someone types in Mark's dog beds, that's bottom of the funnel. So if we go back a stage, if you are trying to increase brand awareness, then you would perhaps use more keywords in this area or more types of advertising in that area. If you're trying to do brand events, and what I've got here, you probably have to take this away at a later point because there's a lot of words on there, but these are the type of campaigns that you would set up at different levels of the funnel. So right at the bottom, we've got brand defense and we've got ranking campaigns. You may have heard of those. They are campaigns where maybe single keywords, exact match. I mean, you had a session on match types, I think, yesterday or the day before. And then brand defense, middle of the funnel, we're starting to get product targeting, sponsored brand. Maybe here we're doing headline ads, or sponsored brand as they're now called, discovery. Then as we get to the top of the funnel, we're starting to do category because it's very generic, auto placements, auto, goal panning, which is something that Brian Johnson came up with, which is to do single keywords, low bid campaigns. And then you're right at the top of the funnel, sponsored display. So you're targeting people who have maybe got a new dog in their life or are interested in pets. And that's why funnel marketing, and this is where some people go wrong, is they just set up a whole load of, maybe they start with an auto campaign. Well, you're right at the top of the funnel. You probably need to start down here with these type of campaigns to start with and then build up. So that's what we call.
Okay.
That all make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does actually.
Yeah. So now I've just got one slide on this called ad inventory. So because I just wanted to put this in to make your viewers aware that even though you might think about, sponsored display where Amazon are putting a lot of effort in at the moment, it's actually probably a very small part of the inventory. There's usually only 1 or 2 spots for sponsored display. There's only one spot for a brand and 1 spot for a video at the moment. Whereas sponsored products, there are multiple positions on a page for sponsored products. So even though you may be thinking about video and things like that, you maybe need to think a little bit about, well, actually, sponsored products is probably where I'm better starting, because that's got the most, what we call inventory, the most spaces, most real estate, depending on how you want to look at it. And that's what's called ad inventory. So is that all okay for funnel marketing?
Yeah, we've got a question. How do you specify the budget as per the funnel?
Again, it depends on what we tend to do is we will only tend to work in one area of the funnel at a time. So what we will do with a client is, if the client has given us amount of budget, we'll put the whole budget into lower funnel to start with. And then we will ask for more budget to go up the funnel, or we will start dividing the budget up into probably around 50%, 20, 30%, and then the balance at top of funnel. Unless we go back here, the client or you yourself are saying, I really want this bit. I really, really want to increase my traffic. I really want more brand awareness. I want more people to look at my products. Or I want here, in which case you'd have to look at the goal. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So here I'm going to talk about moving on from the funnel to client communications. So this is where I'm more talking about you as advertising managers, but when I come on to reports, this will make more sense. So a lot of you may go on to working for other people or working for agencies like mine and have to get into client communications. And it's really important that most clients are kept informed of what you're doing and that you understand what is expected of you. So here's where the first impression we give to a client is how we onboard them. The second impression is our monthly, or the last impression, if you like, is our monthly calls. Whoops, sorry, that's gone back. So our monthly or weekly calls that we do, and that's how we show what we do. And the bit in the middle is all the secret sauce that we as agencies do, all of our optimization, all of this great stuff that you guys are learning about, optimizing campaigns and cost per click and bids and all of that. That's not visible to a client. All they see is the first bit and the last bit. So we have to make sure that the first bit we show them and the last bit we show them is very impressive. Otherwise, you create the wrong impression. So the first thing we do is that we give a good impression, and I'm happy to share this spreadsheet with you.
Yeah, can you zoom in a bit?
Sorry?
Can you just zoom in?
Yep. What's wrong one? Let me just put my glasses on. What's the zoom one for here? No, it won't let me. It won't let me zoom in.
Okay.
I think it's because I'm on the presentation, so apologies. But I can talk you through. This is actually probably quite small for you.
Sure.
So what what we do is we send the client a spreadsheet that has got all of their products, and then they're asked to put in what their cost of goods and what they pay for shipping. And then we automatically calculate profit margins and cost of goods. So this spreadsheet will calculate it for you. And so you may have spoken before in your training about target ACOSs and things like that, about ACOS and TACOS and things like that. Have you covered all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this spreadsheet covers that. What I can do possibly is I can come out of this and I can see if I can.
Yeah, much better.
Right, okay, so there we go. So I've come out of the presentation bit. So what we can see here on the left-hand side is the list of the titles, the selling price. They just enter in this section in the green, the costs, and then it will work out all of these break-even ACOSs. So it helps the client, because part of our job as an agency is to educate clients about the importance of profit margins and help them to understand ACOS and what we do. And then we put here account goals, what reporting they're expecting of us, and then anything else that's relevant.
Okay, can you just show the audience that what metrics are you using here? So first of all, it's parent ASIN, child ASIN.
So we parent ASIN, child ASIN, and title.
Okay.
And then selling price.
Okay.
And then in the green slots, we're asking them to put in what's the cost to produce it for the factory.
Okay.
So if we take this example, the product is $9.99. It costs $2 to make. It costs $1 to ship from, say, China to the US, wherever you're selling it. Amazon's fees are $3 for delivery because it's an FBA. The referral fee is $1.50, which is the 15%. So the total cost of goods, which is all of these lots added up, is $7.50. So 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 150. And then what we go on to do is to work out the profit margin, and then the client will give us what the target ACOS is. The profit margin is 25 or almost 25%. So if our ACOS is over 25%, then we're going to lose the client money. If the ACOS is under 25%, we're going to make them money. However, they may say, we're happy to lose money for a short while, or I'm talking about clients, it could be your own account. I'm happy to lose money for a while in order to improve my ranking or my sales or my relevancy, whatever it is. So as long as you understand the numbers, and this is where a lot of people who do PPC for others and for themselves is they don't study the numbers. They don't understand. So if I can get one thing across to your audience is the importance of being very detailed with the numbers, so that they understand that the numbers, how much the profit margin is. Some clients may not be willing to give this to you, but as a general rule, we work that out. Is that all okay? Yeah,
that's perfect.
Okay, so let me just come down a little bit with the so like you said in the introduction, if you're managing a client's account and you are giving them a report, do not give them data. You want to give them information. So what I mean by that is how we do it, and I'm happy to write a summary of this, is that there's a really fantastic really fantastic free tool called Google Data Studio. Which allows you to download the reports from Amazon, and I'll talk about what reports we use in a moment, and puts them into a Google Sheet, and then you can produce some really, really fancy looking reports, which I'll show you examples of, for yourself or for your clients, in order to show what a great job you're doing and how you're managing your PPC. So let me talk you through some of the reports that we use. So have you studied reports? Have you covered reports a little bit?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
So most of you should be aware that there are 4 different types of advertising. So you've got sponsored products, you've got sponsored brands, you've got sponsored brand video, and you've got sponsored display. So
Yes.
I'm just seeing if I can actually do it without showing you who the client is. No, I can't. So anyway, there are 4 different types of advertising. So under sponsored products, the reports that are most important are, if you want to make a note of this, the most important report for your ongoing maintenance is a search term report, something called a
Okay.
search term report. Now, a search term report tells you, and I can do a video on this later, but tells you what keywords and search terms are relevant for your advertising. So a search term is something that a customer types in, or a potential customer. A keyword is what you advertise. And if the two are the same, that's an exact match. If they're almost the same, a phrase match. And if they're not quite the same, they're broad match often. So a search term report will tell you all of the products, so all of the keywords that have got clicks and impressions for your products, and we can use that report. I haven't got enough time to go into it now, but we use that report mainly for optimizing our accounts to know which of our PPC campaigns are working and which aren't, and which are generating too higher bids and ACOS, etc., etc. So a search term report is the most important report. However, it is not used in client reporting for us. We use what's called an advertised product report and a purchased product report. Those are 2 separate reports under sponsored products. And what they do is they tell us the amount of sales that a particular product has got for our advertising. And we can use that to download that into a Google data sheet. Now, if you go into sponsored brands, you've also got things like campaign reports, which will give you very similar information. You've got sponsored brands, which has got a campaign report, which will give you information about sales and spend. And then with sponsored display, you've got advertised and purchased product report. Now that I've gone on quite quickly there, but essentially what you need to be looking at is how to get the information out of Amazon on a weekly, 2-weekly, or a monthly cycle, so that you can produce these spreadsheets. And I can, as I say, I can go into detail later.
So
Separately.
Mark, is it safe to say that once we are starting the reporting, should we start with advertised product report so
Yes.
that we have all the
The easiest
information?
report to start with is a sponsored products advertised product report. So what that does is that tells you for every product you're advertising, what is the what are the sales, what's the spend, what's the clicks, what's the impressions, what keywords and search terms, what keywords are getting, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's what we use to download into a Google sheet for reporting purposes.
So let's say I've got 10 ASINs, and I'm going to download the advertised product report, and it'll let me know how all the 10 ASINs are performing in different campaigns. Is that right?
Sort of. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to separate the reports you would use for optimizing an account and the reports you would use for reporting to a client. So for optimizing accounts, you need to be using largely the search term report. So that's the report that's where you always start as a PPC manager. So that's where I would suggest your viewers start, by downloading a search term report for sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored brand video, because that will tell you exactly as you just said to me, the campaign performance, keyword performance, what type of search terms your customers are typing in, clicks, impressions, and sales and spend. That's all the information you need largely in order to optimize an account. You can probably optimize very successfully PPC on Amazon by only using that one report.
So an agency would use the search term report for the optimization,
Correct,
and they
yes.
would use the advertised product report to present to the client. Is that right?
To get the data to present to the client, yes. So the
All right.
advertised product report and the purchase product report, and also something called business sales, which gives you conversion information. Had I known, I would have produced a little bit more information on this and shown you some examples, but unfortunately it's all sort of client data. But so there's two things when it comes to client reporting that you need to understand. There's the reports that you use internally as either as an owner of the account or as an agency, which is largely search term reports. There are others if we want to get more advanced, but leave it for now as search term. And then for reporting, you need to pull in information from your business sales, which is in your Seller Central account, which gives you sales per ASIN, it gives you conversion information, it gives you things called sessions, page hits, those kind of things. And then you need to start getting information from your advertising reports to report to your client. So there's two very distinct reasons for downloading reports. One is for optimization, and two is for client reporting. And they're largely different types of reports. So I keep talking about client reporting, but if you're managing your own account, then you need to be doing this yourself, producing not maybe fancy reports, but you need to be producing reports so that you as an owner understand how you're performing as a manager of your own account.
All right. So we've got a question for you, Mark, that if we are reporting to a client, what information exactly we need to present to the clients? For example, do we need to show the client the ACOS, or is there any other metric that you would recommend? So I'll just read the question. What things we need to keep daily track for PPC, and how effectively make PPC report? And also, which metrics would you say are the most important if we want to present them to a client?
Right, so I've got, there'll be, the slide that follows this will be an example. There's about 4 or 5 slides that follow this report that shows exactly, to answer your question, a client report.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of information on this slide, and it may be one that your viewers want to take away and study later, but I'll cover the main things. Now, again, it's important to remember this presentation is largely about client reporting. Now, there's a whole section and another presentation I could do about internal reporting. So these are the reports that we as an agency download and run and create for our own purposes in order to manage the accounts. And they're very, very data heavy. Whereas a client wants to see information and not data. So let me just go to the, so this is quite a busy slide, but this shows you an example of a data studio report. This gets produced automatically once you've set it all up. This is an example of the first page of report I would send to a client. So you look at it, sales.
Can you just zoom in a bit? Can you just zoom in?
Of course I can, yes.
Sure, thank you. So what do we have here?
So on the left-hand side is an overview of sales, orders, average order value. I'll come into that in a minute. Then in the middle, we have traffic.
All right.
On the right-hand side, we have conversion, so the amount of people who are buying your product. Then we have, as your question, the person who asked the question around here, ACOS, TACOS, which is total advertising. And then we have a nice pretty graph that shows the trend. These numbers are made up; these aren't real, but
interesting.
But this shows the trend of PPC versus organic. PPC is the blue, green is the organic. Obviously, this is an account we were scaling or example of a type of account we would scale. So there's lots of PPC spend and advertising in there. But to answer your question that the person asked, which is you need to provide information to your clients about sales and orders, traffic, conversion, PPC efficiency, and then a trend. Okay.
All right. So what metrics have you used here? It's sales, spend, orders,
So
ACOS.
sales, orders, average order value, which is
Okay.
the average number of how much revenue divided by obviously the units, number of units that we've sold during this May in this case. I've got some more slides that will break each of these down if that helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to another one. So what's important when you're reporting is to understand. I know I'm talking about clients, but you as a PPC person need to understand the effect that you're having on the account. So you could do this in a spreadsheet, but just track conversion. So this conversion is something called unit session percentage, which comes from the business sales report. It's in Seller Central. So look up your, go to reports, look up business sales, and you will see unit session percentage, which is the conversion rate, which is what, if you have, if you had 100 people looking at your product and 10 bought, that would be a conversion rate of 10%. So we as PPC managers can very much influence conversion rate, because if we throw lots of top of funnel traffic at a product, not much of it will convert, and we will reduce the conversion rate. So now the client won't be very happy with us because maybe we're converting 5 out of 200 or 10 out of 200. And so it's costing them more to generate that traffic. And then at the bottom, just PPC conversion rate, which is very similar. And then what we do is we will break down the PPC to organic ratio. I'm not going too fast, am I?
No, you aren't.
Okay. So what we will do here is we will tell the person reading this report what the breakdown is between organic sales and PPC sales. So in this case, we've done $82,000 of sales PPC and 33. Again, this is an example of when we're scaling a brand. Normally it would be the other way around if it was mature. And then the gross revenue, which is just everything added together. Next page is something that is very recent change to Amazon. And this comes also from the business sales report. This is the breakdown between sessions. So a session is a unique visitor. A page is a view of your listing. A session is a unique visitor. So there's very different. So the business sales report will have sessions and it will have pages. A session is if one person viewed twice the same your listing, that would be 2 pages, 1 session, because it's one person. So this is really important, and this is important for you as generally as understand where the market is going. This is fairly typical of the way shoppers are shopping now on Amazon, which is mobile, browser, so PCs, Macs, things like that. And we're seeing a significant bias towards mobile at the moment. And so this is, again, a great example of information that is really useful for a client. So we say to them, look, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, it's all mobile now. Really concentrate heavy on your listing images or your description or things that are really prominent on a mobile. 2 years ago, that would have been the other way around. And so, again, this is a really great example. Here are all great examples of information that we're giving to the client that they can use to make business decisions. We're then giving them something we were talking about, average order value. We're giving them about the marketing cost, which is what we call TACOS, total advertising cost of sales. We're giving them trends. We're then breaking down, sorry, I'm a bit big here. We're breaking down, again, it's probably easier if you look at this later, but we're breaking down how the various different types of advertising are spending their money. It's their money, not mine. And what percentage of spend, where's the revenue coming from? And so this is all really great information, because we can
Yeah.
see here that videos are doing really well. Look, we're generating loads of revenue from our videos. Maybe, Mr.
Okay.
Client, could you produce some more videos so that we can boost it? Sponsored
Yeah.
display, not doing very well. Maybe we don't invest some time there. And so the more information you're able to get, the better decisions that you can make.
Okay.
So sponsored display. And then the last two reports is simply a breakdown of the products. And this is where I was talking earlier about the sponsored products advertised product report. This will give you largely all of this information.
Okay.
It won't give you total sales, but it will give you all of the information. We put that all into a Google sheet. We do some formulas and things, and we produce these lovely Data Studio reports. Now, they only take, I think, probably 2 to 3 minutes each a month to produce this. Once you've set it all up, it's all really, really simple. And look how elegant and how good it looks to a
Yeah.
client receiving that report, or yourself, once you've set it up. And so we can see here, again, we can see that we're doing a really bad job of product number 1, because
Yeah.
its ACOS is horrible, but we're doing a fantastic job of product 6, 4.6.
All right.
So that would tell us as PPC managers where we need to start paying our attention. And then,
So Mark, what would you do if product one has such poor ACOS? Would you change something in the product, or you think the campaign maybe needs an adjustment?
yes, so you would start looking at what campaigns are generating sales for this report. Search term report would be the one I would start with. Pull down the
Okay.
search term report, look at the campaigns that this particular product has got are in. Then we can start breaking down what campaigns are running, and we go back to the funnel and we say, is the high ACOS for this product, is it because we're running too much top of funnel stuff that doesn't convert very well? So are we running too much sponsored display? Where is the problem? Is the problem, because with a search term report for sponsored products and one for brands and one for video, you can look at how much money is being spent on a particular product that's generating the ACOS, and you can start to work out where the problem is. So it's a bit like being a detective. You go back to the reports and say,
Yeah.
what's causing this spend? Where is it? Is it video? Is it
Okay.
the wrong search terms? Those kind of things.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. And then finally, we do sponsored brands. So again, we just look at the sponsored brands revenue and ad spend, and these are the sponsored brand groups, because we do it by portfolio, because you can't always tell what product, how much money was spent on each product, because there's 3 products in a sponsored brand ad. So it's a bit more difficult like that. But that's essentially reporting. I talked about a client, but generally reporting, because it's really important. The message I want to get across to people is that it's important to know your numbers. Okay, what we present here is quite detailed, and this report is quite involved, but it gives us all of the information that we can either give to a client or help us to understand what's going on the account.
All right. So lastly, I'm going to ask you about what solutions does Orange Rocket provide? What are the services, and what are the charges, and how can someone approach you guys?
So I'll just stop sharing. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
The first question, well, what are the services we provide? So the services we provide are traditional Amazon advertising. We also do Walmart. We also do off Amazon, because increasingly our clients are saying we need to drive traffic from TikTok, LinkedIn, all of those kind of places, because we want to drive relevancy and ranking. We can't do chatbots and all of that kind of stuff anymore. So that's more of what we do.
Okay.
In terms of contacting us, obviously our website, orangerocket.co.uk. .co.uk is the bit to remember. I'm available on WhatsApp. If people want to contact me, my number is 44 788 78894, and that's a WhatsApp number. I can't promise to get back to you all immediately, but I can certainly do that. I'm also available on Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn. You can find me. Just send me a message to connect. I'll be happy to answer any questions, help anyone that wants any advice about PPC. One of the things that we are quite good at is the client bit, the client relationship bit, reporting, managing clients, that kind of thing. So if anyone wants some advice about working for a client, working for an agency, the sorts of things we do, then I'd be happy to share as much knowledge as I possibly can.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Mark, for being with us. It has been an amazing session. I hope the members loved it. And we'll invite Mark again soon to answer the questions you've got, all of you. And tomorrow, same time, we've got another amazing session. So thanks a lot, Mark. We'll see you
No
again
problem at
soon.
all. Take care. Have a good
All right.
evening, everyone, or morning, or wherever you are. See you
All right.
later.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.